This episode is brought to you by Portland Distro. If you love underground music and movies, go to portlanddistro.com for licensed shirts, vinyl, CDs, and more. Go to portlanddistro.com. Plug in the discount code MikeHill666 for 15% off at portlanddistro.com. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Everything Went Black. Welcome Heath Rave of Lotus to the show. I've been really hyped on this band. My good friend Morgan turned me on to them, and I've been all in ever since his recommendation came through. So it was cool to find out that Heath and I have a bit of a shared history. And you can listen to the show and find out all about that. Before we get going, I want to shout out the Horsemen of the podcasting apocalypse. We're the elite podcasting Illuminati, including Horror Wolf 666, brought to you every other week by Brandon Legion, Jackie Smith with the best weekly metal podcast, Into the Necrosphere. Of course, this is Everything Went Black. Necromaniacs, a show that I co-host alongside Mike Scandato and Jeff Kashid. Soul Knox, brought to you by Carl Hikara for all things weird, macabre, and esoteric. And our newest member, lurking in the margins, Iblis Manifestations, brought to you by Cheyenne of the great band Trivax. If you want to support the show, of course, you can like us on Facebook and Instagram. You can also join the Patreon. So there's several tiers. There's a $1 a month tier, a $5 a month tier, and then a sponsorship tier, which is $25 for those of you who are bold enough to promote their business, band, or project on Everything Went Black. My good friend Morgan from the band Black Ops and Kill the Client and a bunch of other bands.
I fucking loved Kill the Client.
Yeah,
they were great.
Good friend of mine.
Do I know Morgan?
I don't know.
Do I know Morgan?
Do you have
sure.
you ever met any of the guys from Kill the Client?
No, I don't think so. No, they were incredible.
He turned me on to Lotus Thrones, and he sent me this link, and he's like, "This is something that you need to be into." And usually Morgan gives me good recommendations. And, of course, I listen to it, and it's right up my alley. And so congratulations, man. I think the Heretic Souvenir is an incredible record.
Thank you. Thanks so much. I had a little ego death with it, I think. Just because the response has been relatively lackluster, you know. So, but I also makes me kind of happy because I feel like there's a certain kind of person that's gonna like what I make. And definitely knowing you through the years, the little bit that we know about each other, and this influences I hear in your music, it doesn't surprise me. Like it. Plus, every time I see you, you're in that Fields of the Nephilim shirt. So.
Yeah, that's definitely one of my favorite bands. I got a chance to see them actually back in, I think, 2016, 2015. We played at Roadburn the same day that they played.
I was going to say, was that at Roadburn? I feel like that's the only show they played in like the last 20 years or something.
I think they just do festivals in Europe. That's it.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and like they did like Hellfest one year, and I was like so excited just to see them play, and I can say that I actually saw them play live, and it was incredible.
We had a Dawn Razor on tape in the first Wolfhammer van, actually. Because we had a tape deck in there, and I managed to find Dawn Razor on tape at the UCD place in Minneapolis.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
like the John Zepp's store, right? Is that the one we're talking about?
No, no, it's like a just like a used crap, like it's like a huge warehouse of used CDs.
And you found it there?
Yeah, I found it there. Yeah, and this huge tape collection. That and like shit, other shit I needed, like Van Halen one. You know what I mean? You need that on tape for a drive for sure.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. Van Halen one is like my favorite Van Halen record.
That I like Fair Warning too. Actually, Fair Warning's great. It's a metal record, really. So
You know, it's funny. Back when I used to do the Gimme Radio Metal Matters podcast, we did a whole episode on Fair Warning.
oh, it's a good record. And then what's my other one? You, I got back into it because Ken Andrews from Failure was talking about his favorite songs on a podcast, and one of them is Unchained on Fair Warning.
Yeah, yeah, that's on Fair Warning.
That's one of his favorite songs. That's one of his favorite songs of all time is Unchained from Van Halen. I'm like, no wonder Failure's so sick, and they know how to rock harder.
Unchained had that kind of fake improv like breakdown, in the middle
Oh
where
yeah,
he was
yeah,
like, "Come on,
totally.
Dave, give me a break," One
Yeah,
break coming up.
one break coming up. Yeah, so good.
I mean, music just isn't like that anymore. You know what I mean?
No, it's not. It's not. That's the other thing with like, I don't know. That's the thing with when I started Wolfhammer, and then even with what I'm doing with this, it's like there's, I mean, entertainment needs to be involved for me. I wanted to have fun. I want to hear some like harmonies and melodies, and at the same time being dark. You know what I mean? But like, there needs to be a little bit of a fun factor happening, and I think that there's a lot of lack of that.
Actually, before we talk about Lotus Thrones, let's talk
Yeah,
about Wolfhammer because
sure. Let's talk about it.
my good friend Jeff Wilson is involved in that band. So
Jeff Wilson's my best friend.
yes, so I'm not sure if you know this at all, but Jeff and Ken Sorceron were fill-in members of Tombs back in
I told
2017.
Yep, I totally knew that. I knew that when it was happening. Yeah, yeah.
That was a really nightmare. Not those guys, but that was like a very tense moment in the Tombs career. It was, yeah. We finished recording an album. We had all this touring lined up, and I found myself with basically no members in the band. And Ken and Jeff, we had just finished touring with Wolfhammer just a few months prior to that, and those guys I knew were road guys. So
Yep, they love it. They love it for sure. And they're Jeff. I don't know. I mean, I don't know much. Jeff's my friend. I don't know Ken really that well. We shared a practice space at one point back when Abigail was in Chicago with us, but I
right.
don't. But he's neither here nor there to me. But like, I mean, but Jeff does his fucking homework. He's one of the most professional people I've ever had the pleasure of being in bands with. And then the fact that he helps me with his he does Lotus Thrones through Disorder and stuff, and we did the Wolfhammer stuff through that for like vinyl. Like he's one of the most incredible people I've ever met.
Yeah, I love
Um,
Jeff. I mean, we did that whole U.S. tour with Wolfhammer. Then he was in the filling in the band, and then Tombs also did like a 2-week tour of Chrome Waves too. So it was really cool.
oh, cool. Yeah.
And that
Um,
band's great, and pretty much all the stuff Jeff does is great in my opinion.
for sure. And like if you like even like the deeper grave stuff, I'm
Yeah.
doing more and more. I'm doing more and more of the vocals on some of that stuff with him too. So
All right, so
you'll
give
hear.
me the whole rundown here, because I
Okay.
knew you were a Wolfhammer. Are you also in Deeper Graves?
No, I'm not. He just ends up like the last couple recordings. He would just be like, "Yo, dude, can you do this?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure." So yeah, so I just jump in for him.
All right. So let's start with Wolfhammer. So what that band's through a bunch of
Well,
different lineups, and so let's talk about that.
actually, we can start. We can start with Across Tundras. Actually,
Okay, all right, let's do that.
because you might be familiar with them. They're on Neuro and stuff. But I helped start that band with Tanner Olson back in Denver in 2003 or 2004. And then he kept going with that, and then I moved to Minneapolis, and I did this kind of doom project called Vernal Pool with Eric Torkelson from Exam.
Okay.
Examination of the.
Yeah.
And then and my friend Micah was in that with me, and that's how Wolfhammer started. The whole Vernal Pool thing, which I'll send it to you, you might like it, but it was like a 45-minute song, like Earth's kind of style stuff, but based on Blood Meridian from Cormac McCarthy. Real pretentious bullshit.
Well, that's my middle. That's my middle name is pretentious. So yeah,
for sure. Yeah, I mean, it takes 10 minutes before we hit a note or some shit. I don't remember, but I just remember being like, I just like need to play fast, because Across Tundras was kind of like a like if Crazy Horse was more of a doom metal band, like,
right.
But it had like that Neil Young vibe to it. So Wolfhammer was a direct response to like, I'm like a punk kid, dude. I'm like, I need to go fast. I'm a drummer. I'm fucking bored doing this shit too. So I was like, what would Motorhead and Darkthrone sound like? Well, probably Hellhammer. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I got it with Micah and I started it with this Ryan McKern, who did that. He did a project with Mike from I Hate God. I forgot what it was called. God, I feel bad too, because Ryan's a sweetheart. God damn it, what was that called?
Was it like just Mike or a bunch of other guys too?
It's just Mike and Ryan. It was like a noise project.
Huh.
Long name, long arty weird name. But then Andy, who does Feral White, Andy Schoengren.
Oh yeah, we played with them in some shithole in the middle of nowhere. I remember there was like 5 people at the show.
He's incredible. But he did, he joined up, and then we did Black Marketeers, that first record. So it's the 4 of us, Minneapolis, and then due to certain circumstances, people had to go different ways. And then Adam he had been in Veil of Maya and Iron Thrones. He's now the singer of Skeleton Witch.
Yeah.
Adam joined a week before a South by Southwest tour, which was also our first tour with Jeff Wilson.
And I saw you guys at that because we also played South by the same year you guys did.
That's right. Yep, totally. That's right. Did we played a showcase together, right? Or no?
You guys played the Profound Lore showcase with Ken Mode, I think.
Yep. Yeah, and what's that fucking awesome metal band? God, they're just like traditional. I can't remember the name of their name. They're so rad.
That might have been a different show, because you know how like everyone plays like 100 shows.
Yeah, no. Well, they were like one of the headliners for it. Bruni did one record for them. And then Bruce played it too. Bruce Lamont, all that. But earlier that day, I thought we might have played with you guys earlier in the day, because we were with like Death Heaven earlier in the day.
Oh wait, yeah. That was when like Death Heaven went on like third or something like that.
Yeah. No, Death Heaven opened up for all of us, I think.
Yeah, and it was like a day show, and it was like some afternoon type thing. We played, you guys played. That's right. Death Heaven played.
Yeah.
I think Altars played.
That's right.
Yeah. See, it's all starting to come back, and that's when I met Jeff. I think not that show, but at the Profound Lore thing is where I met Jeff. I think.
I'm trying to figure out if Rob from Battlefields, introduced us in there, because we picked him up there and he did sound for us too that night, or if it was in Minneapolis before that. I can't remember where you and I first met, but I know it was Rob from Battlefields that introduced us.
Yes, yeah. And Battlefields, I feel like we were not on tour with them, but they were like on a lot of shows on that particular run of dates that we did. I can't remember who we were actually out with during that period of time though.
Was that like first Tombs tour then, probably?
No. That was probably like, I mean, that we were on Relapse at the time, and
Okay.
we done a bunch of stuff before we got
Huh.
you know,
I feel like you guys were
relapse.
still. I feel like you were still pretty fresh though, because we were still talking about Anodyne and Versoma at the time when
Yeah,
you were
yeah,
starting to do tunes.
that was definitely maybe like the maybe third year of the band. Like I think maybe
Oh, okay.
Winter
Okay.
Hours just came out or something, and
Oh, that's right. Yep, yep, that's right.
yeah,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
that tour might have been either Isis Pelican or Pelican Wolves in the Throne Room. So I'm not sure which
Oh,
one.
that's right. That's right. Yeah. Um, yeah, no, Rob mentioned that. You guys, it's like you guys would be playing the same cities, the same nights somehow.
Yeah,
So you'd be like running into each other and shit. That's right.
yeah,
That's right.
Battlefields is great, man.
God, they were so good. So good. Did you hear that last thing that Steven put out? That 6 song thing that
By
they did?
Battlefields?
Yeah.
Are you talking
Steve
about
in it.
Steve Williams, right? From In It?
Yep, yep. In it put it out. Yeah. And then it was just like the song thing. Sanford mixed it for him and stuff too, but it was after translation loss.
Yeah,
It's
fucking
named after the
Steve
lake.
rules. He's got a great label, but you never know when his records come out.
Steve is incredible. I love him to death. He did the first Wolfhammer record
Yeah,
actually.
yeah,
Yeah,
definitely. Feral Light
yeah,
too.
yeah. It's that Agassiz EP that they did last. Did you ever listen to that?
No,
2021.
I have to. I didn't even know it came out.
Oh, dude, it's like it's there's so much potential there. Had they like maybe toured it or pushed it, I feel like they finally would have broke. Actually, honestly, but I think they were all done too.
Yeah, I mean
Like,
that's like. I always felt like the components were there. You know, like I was like I remember watching those guys on those dates, and I was like, man, this band's like incredible. You know, like they had the atmosphere. They were heavy. Their songs were cool. Yeah, they were,
definitely,
and then they just like kind of vanished. And like
yeah.
I
I
didn't
mean,
even
I
know that
think,
record came out in 2021. I didn't even know that was out.
yeah, I feel like they maybe got sick of carrying around that back line too.
That's
It
true.
was
Yeah,
unnecessary. It was
yeah.
totally unnecessary.
You know, I kind of I got away from all the big like cabinets, you know, over the
I
years,
think
man.
we I think we all have. I think we
Yeah.
all have. I think we realized that like maybe working with your sound guy a little bit
Oh
and
yeah.
like stage volume isn't so necessary. You know what I mean? Because people like to hear the drummer too.
That's the thing, man. It's like there was like that weird trend, like you know, 2006, 2007. Everyone had
Well,
like
I
two like full stacks and you know
oh no,
two SVTs.
I'd even say 299 to 2007. It was
Okay.
almost a decades worth of like overuse of fucking amplification, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just like pure. It's like terrorism, you know. And some of
Well,
that was on purpose, really. But
I mean, a lot of it was like you know playing with no PA. You know what I mean? It was like
totally, that
all
yeah,
of us came out of just doing these like DIY shows with just the
yeah, sure.
vocals, you know, and suddenly we're all on real stages playing through like actual sound systems with a sound
And so,
engineer.
and some guys are like, turn it down, and you're like, no.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. You know, and then
just
you know
just be
suddenly,
petulant little pricks about it, dude. Like, I'm not turning down. Like, it would
yeah.
probably help if you did, but whatever.
And I've seen great bands have their set ruined by not turning down.
Totally, absolutely.
Yeah.
Gosh,
You know, so these days I just roll with a half stack.
yeah, and it's so much nicer on our backs too.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm not getting any younger, you know, so it's nice to
Oh
not
yeah,
carry
for
all
sure.
that shit, you know.
You know what's also cool is like not playing shows.
Well, you know, I can relate, you know, but you know, you know, after
No,
the
that's what you.
pandemic.
That's what you do though. Like me, I just like I don't know. I tried to do a few last year with Lotus Thrones, and I had a fucking murk of a lineup for my backing band. But like it just was like unless you're doing it for like at least 5 shows in a row and you can get into a rhythm. I was just like doing local shows as like my solo project with my backing band just seems fucking worthless, you know. And it turned out to be like I don't know. There was just wasn't worth it. It was fun. I'm glad I tried it, but
So all right? So what's the genesis of Lotus Thrones? Because I only know that one record. I'm just starting to get into the band. So tell me about how
okay.
this all started.
Okay, so Wolfhammer, I left in 2015. I basically lit my life on fire. At that point, I was extremely addicted to cocaine and my own personal brand of narcissism and being a piece of shit, basically. So the only thing I could think to do was basically burn every bridge around me and quit the band. I met my now ex-wife. I got married. I had my daughter. Moved back to South Dakota, where I'm from. That's
Oh
why I
wow.
know Steven,
Yeah.
Steven and all the exam dudes, like Spirit of Versailles, all that stuff. That's the scene I came out of. So we're back there, and as they like to say back then, what was it? Unprecedented times happened.
Right. Sure.
Yeah. And we were in the weirdest place on earth to go through COVID. Honestly, South Dakota was one of the strangest fucking experiences of my life. Being back home after like 20 some odd years, almost 20 years, because I left in 2001, 2002, and I hadn't been back. I visited my parents, but like not lived there. And it's like a very MAGA, like Republican, like red state. So what
So
happened was,
everyone was in like complete denial that there was anything going
oh,
on.
completely. Oh, there were signs that said you cannot wear a mask in our store. It was
Wow.
the opposite. It was lawless, dude. It was like the wild fucking West, man. Um, but I was supposed to go to, do you know who Freddie Corbin, the tattooer, is?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know him personally, but I know his
Yeah,
work
but
though.
yeah, a
Yeah.
temple tattoo out of Oakland.
Yeah.
So my ex was gonna get me this huge tattoo on the other side of my head for my 40th birthday. And that was 2020. So we weren't going anywhere. So she goes, "What do you want?" And I had been jamming with my buddy Matt, who he's a bass player in Riff Lord, actually. They're from there. We were jamming this thing, and I was trying to figure out a way to record drums that was easy. And I've seen everything that's been done with Superior Drummer and sound
Yep.
replacement and all
Oh
that
yeah.
stuff. So she got me an Elisa Strike kit for my 40th birthday, and I started fucking around in Logic, and with stuff on my own. And I was going back and forth with a friend, and he was teaching me some things. This guitar player dude, but he's super into. He's a union dude. He's into union organizing, and he's like very focused on that. And with my level of obsession into things, like I just I needed something else to do. So I was like, now I was waiting on somebody else all the time. So what I did was, one day I got up, I went to the pawn shop across the street from my tattoo shop there. I bought an $80 Fender Mustang.
Okay. They're nice
I
guitars, by the
went,
way.
no, a Squire actually. It
Oh,
was a Squire
Squire.
Mustang.
Okay. All right.
It
Yeah.
was still, I love that guitar actually. I
Yeah.
fucking
They're
love
cool.
that guitar. Yeah. I bought that. I ran over to Guitarded Center, and sorry, I shouldn't say that. I
It's
ran over
okay to
to,
say that on this show, though.
okay, cool.
Yeah.
I ran over to Pro Gear Pro Attitude, and I got myself an interface and $100 MIDI controller.
That's all you need. What kind of interface do you get?
Just the Scarlett.
Okay. Yeah, those are sick.
Two,
I'm using one right now. Actually, they're great.
yeah, just the 2-channel Scarlett I grabbed, and 48 hours later, I had a cover of "I and I Survive" from Bad Brains.
Right on. Nice.
Because it's what I used to sing to Magnolia, my daughter. What I used to sing that to her to sleep. And plus, we during the day, like her first when I was with her during the day when she was a baby, we'd listen to Rock for Light because she loved the noises that HR would make too.
I could
So,
see that.
but
Yeah.
Yeah, but the reggae noise, like the reggae song was like, in my mind, I was like, okay, I haven't played guitar since I was 14, like, well, like, or even that great then either. But I was just like, it's a reggae song. There's probably three chords. And if I put a bunch of fucking delay on it and then sing it like Justin Broderick and put it about half the speed, it might be a really cool cover and I can see what happens. And then I sent it to Sanford and I sent it to Jeff and they said, keep going. About a month later, I had that first record, Lovers in Wartime.
And this is all while you're out in South Dakota, right?
Yep, in the basement. Like things were starting. I was starting to work again at the time, though. Summer was over. It was fall, getting towards winter. There's a lot of catharsis happening too. Maybe some foreshadowing to the fractures in my relationship at the time, and how much we were really unhappy living there. So I think that helped push me to make that record. And then to getting to now. So it was around Thanksgiving, I think. I was finished up. And I also did Altars of the Moon vocals around then too for that first Altars of the Moon. With Jeff, and then the guy Nate from Wada is in that.
Okay, yeah, I know that band.
So we had this huge blowout, me and my ex, and we were like, "This sucks here. Let's get the fuck out of here."
Now,
and
what? This is about what, like 2020, like 2021, something like that.
Almost 20. It's almost 2021 because I've been in PA now for 2 years. My ex-wife's from Allentown.
Oh, okay.
Oliver, but her best friends and stuff live in around the Philly area. So it was just like, let's get out of here and go there. And I had friends here too. Like, we have mutual friends of ours, yours and mine.
Yeah.
So it just made sense. So we got here. I chilled a little bit. And then we got here in April of 2021. May of 2021, I rebuilt my studio and I started Heretic Souvenir then. And I had that done in Lovers, the first record took me like 3 weeks. Heretic Souvenir took me like 2 months, 2.5 months. I really got into that. And like I was texting Sanford a lot about production shit, stuff like that, and like really getting into like that aspect of it, like really getting into writing, all that. Yeah, I had that done by like mid-July, I think, or August. So then I started doing, there's 4 other EPs that I started doing after the fact where I really distilled kind of each sound that I sort of feel like is like the major parts of Lotus Thrones, like the Nor jazz, the dark wavy goth stuff, the industrial stuff, and then the post-metal stuff, like, and even the shoegazy kind of stuff. So there's these 4 other EPs that are out that are like distilled versions of like those things, So, but I did all those after the fact. So November of that year, I went to Chicago and me and Sanford mixed and Bruce did sax. I finished vocals there and then came out this last year here. Yeah.
Now, part of my ignorance on this, so because I'm a new fan. Okay, so all of this stuff is independently released. Am I correct to assume that?
To a point, no. Jeff helps me with it. And then I'm on Seeing Red too. Seeing Red put out the vinyl for Heretic.
Okay.
And then Jeff does CDs for me, and plus it's just another, it's kind of him and I kind of help each other out too by me being on his roster and then all that. But most of the works, almost all the work's done on my own other than mixing. So, and then Bruce Lamont does like the saxophone work. So
yeah, you can't really go wrong with Bruce Lamont.
For sure. I'm like, and I don't know if as much as like we're maybe not supposed to talk about him. Scott Kelly was right when he said the only worthwhile sax player like ever is Bruce Lamont. So
you can talk about Scott Kelly all you want on Everything Went Black.
Cool.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to
Right.
cancel anyone because of their mistakes or whatever. I don't believe
For
in that kind
sure,
of
for
stuff.
sure. Yeah,
You know?
but I saw one time I saw Scott Kelly solo with Bruce backing him up, and they did Cortez the Killer, and I have never had I had the deepest one single tear in my eye at the end of that. And Scott was joking on stage. He goes, "Saxophones are stupid except for Bruce Lamont or something like that." um,
Yeah.
but and John Zorn, but um, yeah. So
Yeah, because I have
that's
the I have the Bandcamp like digital version, so that I just downloaded it off Bandcamp, so I wasn't aware of what label affiliations you had.
yeah, totally. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I have some help, but it's definitely like it's all licensed. It's me. So yeah, it's not. There's no like. I mean, yeah, I guess it's independent. It's not. I don't know. Everybody's helping each other out. I feel like it's as purely punk rock as you can get in the digital age, which is what I love about the digital age. Actually, I don't mind it, honestly. Like, I mean, it sucks we're not getting paid, but at the same time, I feel like people have the only reason to make art now is to make good art because you're not trying to. There's nothing to sell, which sucks. But it's also pure. It's I don't know. I feel like COVID like leveled the playing field with that shit in a way too. You know what I mean? Like everybody's making such good art now. Like I hear so many things that are like incredible all the time. I'm like, this is fucking good. This is fucking good. This is fucking good. There's so much good stuff to digest.
Yeah, this year, I mean, the last couple of years have been great for music, and
Yes, just
so much awesome stuff, and yeah, like this record was a really nice find, very unique, different than a lot. I mean, not different from a lot of stuff I listen to, but different than the kind of stuff that people have been recommending to me. You know what I mean?
yeah. I feel like I like that's the thing too is like I feel like guys our age, somebody like someone our age will hear it and be like, "Holy shit, dude, this guy loves '90s Killing Joke. This is awesome." You know what I mean? But like, um, I think it goes over a lot of like the younger people's heads and stuff. There's a there's a certain. I feel like it's. I don't know. Somebody said like they can tell how much I like '90s industrial on it and like that kind of shit. So I don't know. I feel like it's a little. I feel it's a little old for some people.
Well, it's funny you mention that because I feel like a lot of kind of old post punk stuff is popular again, except that you have to nail it like right on the nose for like younger people to get into it, you know?
For sure, if it doesn't sound exactly like Joy Division or Chameleons or something, they're like not into it. You know what I
They
mean?
don't
And I'm just,
yeah. Like they don't
I'm just
dig
too weird.
they don't dig like the influence. They don't like hearing it crossed with something else because they
For
want to be
sure.
able to like just dial in exactly to what this obvious thing is, you know?
Yeah, for sure. It's like people like I don't know. It's like when I hear like it's like when you hear a song like that. However you pronounce it, Kaif or Kif off Dark Side of the Spoon from Ministry.
Yeah.
Like that's a post punk song to me.
Sure.
You
That's a
know,
great. I like that record actually. By the way, it's
I
like one
do
of the
too.
later
Or
ones.
like yeah, Filth Pig's my favorite Ministry record. It's a gnarly son of a bitch. You know what I mean? It's ugly.
Well, that has probably my favorite song. "The Fall" is on that record,
Did
I
you?
think.
I sent you a cover of the Fall in that photo
It's
in that
that's in the
folder.
Dropbox. Oh man,
Yeah, that is.
right
And it's
on.
just and it's for the Nor Jazz EP I did this last summer.
Hell yeah.
That's just me and Bruce. There's no vocals on it except for the fall cover. So it's like a weird Nor Jazz thing. And instead of the piano crescendo, it's Bruce doing a saxophone crescendo.
Oh man, yeah. You sent that to me when I was kind of like en route between a couple of different places, so I didn't get a chance to really check it out yet.
Yeah, no, I didn't know if yeah, I just thought of it. I was like, like I'm gonna do like kind of a stopgap thing here and drop like all these covers that I did on those EPs, and then some other covers that Jeff and I did on some like we did a Cure split, we did a Portishead split, and none of that stuff's on like real streaming like services. And then plus I had like the first song that I wrote for Heretic Souvenir didn't end up on there. It's the short little like 2 minute kind of post punk rocker, and then I did a song for this blog. God damn it! And I feel so bad not remembering it right now. What is that? I'm not going to be able to find it right now, but I changed the title of it, and I've kind of remixed it some, and I'm going to put that on there too. So, and just to like throw all those out there because they're not really out there. And I'm working on finishing an Underworld cover for that, and I might finish this. And I might finish this Peter Gabriel cover that I've been wanting to do for a while here too. So,
damn,
because he's probably one of my favorite artists ever.
Like the Genesis stuff or
yes.
solo material?
Well, yeah, Genesis, yeah, but the first well, I guess it'd be the first 5 Peter Gabriel records. Everything through So, I think, is incredible. Except for Scratch. I don't really like Scratch. It's good, but it's like it sounds like he was trying to be too Bowie-ish on there. Where else it's like the first one still sounds like old Genesis, what like Down the Dolce Vita and like Salisbury Hill, those songs,
Yeah.
But Security and Melt are just, they break my heart. They're so fucking incredible. I'm trying to do a cover of I Don't Remember off of Melt, actually, because it's so weird and I don't know, like Cold War-ish feeling, you know.
Yeah, I don't think I know that song. I gotta look that up.
Or it's I can't remember. No, it's I Don't Remember. Yeah, it's what it's called. Yeah.
Okay, I gotta check that out. I don't
it's
know
like
that
empty stomach, empty head, empty heart, empty bed. I don't remember. Like, it's fucking so cool. And it had a really big influence. My third record's done, and he had a huge influence on it. I was watching The Americans. You know that show?
The TV show? Yeah, it's a good.
Yeah.
I've seen the first season. It's pretty cool.
You should watch all of it. It fucking ends beautifully too. But I basically have a loose concept of 2 KGB agents in love in early 80s Cold War era with a little more of a sci-fi kind of like bent to it, I guess, for my third record.
Damn.
It's
you're like ripping these records out, man. It's cool.
This has been done for like, I've had it done since, I don't know, there's a couple touch-ups I got to do, but it's been done probably since May. And I had like I did a lot of it when I first, my ex-wife and I first broke up, and I moved into my own place. I like, obviously just like kind of vomiting emotion out, you know?
Sure.
Demoing it, all that. And then I didn't do anything with it for months. And then Neil from Krieg was up getting tattooed. And I played him some stuff that I hadn't done any vocals yet. I played him all this instrumental stuff. And he was just like, this thing's like done. You just got to finish it, dude. So I got back in. I also did I did the outro for the new Krieg record, Ruiner. I did the outro for that.
I gotta check that out too, man.
Yeah, I did the outro on the last song, and then I did an intro for the split. I think that's coming out with Withdrawal. I think.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So I got to come in and do some noise on that. That felt really good because I played drums for Krieg live once. So Neil said I had to be on recording somewhere. And I think after I finish the third record, I'm gonna do. I'm working on just some ambient stuff for a little while. I think
it's not going to be under the Lotus Thrones name.
Oh, it totally is, because my whole thing with Lotus Thrones is I'll do whatever the fuck I want with it as I please. It's an art project, you know.
Right.
So that's why you hear all the other stuff happening in it too, you know, like. That's why there's the jazz elements and the industrial and all that. I'm just like, this is what I want to hear right now. So this is what I'm going to make of it. I don't necessarily think I need to put a different name behind it.
Now, for the most part, except for like, some guests, maybe this is like, you do everything, like guitar, bass, synths, the drums, vocals, the whole thing.
Yep. All of it. Yeah. So, like if I need a shredder, I'll bring in like Andy's done a couple solos on stuff for me. Andy from Fairlight.
Okay. Yeah, he's a shredder.
I had Jeff play bass on my spring EP, the Vernal EP, because The thing is, I'm a mediocre guitar player who's managed to like fake it, and hear it out. But I am the worst fucking bass player in the world. A lot of the bass you hear on there is synth bass, and I actually kind of like it. I run it through a shitload of distortions and stuff, and I think it's kind of integral to a lot of my sound is the synth bass stuff actually. But for that shoegazy kind of EP, I really needed an actual bass player. So Jeff did all that for me. But he played a lot of that through Ebo anyway, so it ends up sounding crazy and awesome. So
That's killer.
yeah, I don't know. Jeff, whenever I've had Jeff do stuff for me, he'll be like, is this noisy enough? And I realize like that's an integral part for me too, is like, is it kind of nasty underneath it? Like it's gotta be like everything's gotta be real saturated.
So when you had these live shows, right? So what
Yeah.
was the story with that? Yeah, because you have played live, you were saying.
Yeah, played 3 shows. There's this cool band called Guts out of New York. Albany, I think. No, Albany. I don't know. Upstate. They're upstate dudes. And they asked me to do some shows, so I hit up David Grossman, who we're mutual friends with. You and I.
I know. Yeah, Dave's great, man. He's cool.
Yeah, Dave played bass. Josh Mahesh, that fills in for Rosetta sometimes, and he's in that hardcore band Model Prisoner.
Okay.
Who also does New Miserable Experience with Dave. He played guitar. Our friend Matt Geary, who did that band Cape of Bats, which is pre-Devil Master.
Yep, totally.
He played guitar. Yep. And then Jason from Krieg and Sunburster played drums.
Right on, man.
Like I told you, I had a fucking Merc lineup for that, but it was just like, yeah, this isn't good. This isn't financially worthwhile whatsoever.
Yeah, it's like I imagine like executing something like this is probably a little bit harder, once you.
It was different. That was my other thing with it too, is especially having the privilege of 4 individuals like that come in. It was like, let's interpret these things. This isn't meant to like listen. It wasn't. It got close, but in parts. And I even did some like extra live synthy noise and stuff. I was playing synth live and doing noise stuff and vocals, obviously, and they were doing the rest. But it was like there was no necessary need to like try to like make it sound like the record, because it wasn't gonna. Because that's all based on production and composition, things like that, and experimentation. So it's like live, it was going to be different. So it was fun too, for sure.
That's kind of the scary thing, man. Because there's a project, like a 4-song EP that's about to come out that I just did over the winter, and it was just me and a drummer, and it only exists in that weird ethereal world of your mind, it's like it doesn't really exist. You know what I mean? It's not like there's like 5 guys like standing in a room making this music.
That's the thing too. Is like my main instrument's my computer.
Yeah. It's an interesting place to be in these days, where in my experience, and primarily your experience, has been in a collaborative band situation where you're in a practice space. You're like, you might have some ideas that you demoed at home, but the integral parts, like all the connective tissue, is worked out like organically, but in this case, with like this project that you're doing and the project that I'm, that's about to come out, this is all really internal dialogue stuff,
Yeah. And
so it's interesting.
That's the thing too, is a lot of the stuff with Lotus Thrones is like, especially drum wise and some of that stuff, is the first take of drums. And then I might do a little overdubbing or some nudging, in the MIDI and stuff.
Right.
But then I'll have an idea in my head and I'll play it out on drums kind of. But it's never what you think it's going to be when you're intended in your mind. And then I just start adding stuff on top. So it's like when when it comes to the idea of a live situation, it's like I have to go back and relearn what some of that stuff was. And
Yeah.
I'm not a school musician. I can't read music. I have to hear everything out. I know 6 chords. So it's like, and I have to kind of remember where the numbers on the frets were, things like that. Like I can't read fucking tab to save my life. So it's like, that was a really difficult part about doing the live situation was I had to go back and like, remember how I played certain parts of these things when a lot of times it was just like happy accidents or just like it was like, oh, that sounds perfect. I'm not gonna fuck with that. Let's move on. You know what I mean? Like just like painting. I'm a tattooer too for my day job. I have been for 25 years. I've always been a visual artist, so it's like I kind of make music in the same kind of manic sort of aspect where it's just like I'm slapping paint on stuff. I'm adding in claws and teeth and eyes, and then all of a sudden it's a monster. But I don't remember how I got there. So
Yeah.
teaching it, and then having 4 school guys in the room with you, looking at you like I'm like, this is kind of like this. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm kind of, I can relate to that because I'm like I'm not the most technical player either, man, as it comes to things.
I don't know. I would disagree with you about that after watching you for so many years and being a fan of your bands for. But you say what you need to be modest, Mike Hill. That's cool.
It's I fake it. I fake it till I make it. You know what I mean?
Dude, I went back and I listened to the Versoma record today, and I was thinking about all the stuff that like even like the days of like Golden Sky, Exam, like all that stuff, and it's just like it's no. I mean, I'm sure someone like I feel like you and I were listening to black metal back then,
sure,
like, and we're fans of it for sure. But like the tonal nature of the stuff we were doing back then is so reminiscent of what was going on in black metal too. You know what I mean? Like there's like it's so comparable.
No doubt, definitely.
And I was like thinking about that of just like we were like considered like I don't know post hardcore kids back then or something like that. I don't know what we were, but like doing this weird noise, like this weird almost true screamo meets unsane like noise rock vibey shit like we were all into. And like I don't know, when I hear Seisha or like Orchid, it sounds like black metal to me now. I'm like it's fucking it's like it's all you have to do is cut the weird haircut off the dude and take the white belt off of him and put a bullet belt on him, and it's pretty much there.
No, I totally agree with that. I mean, there's this song on what was the Lit Golden Sky record where the song actually sounds like a straight up like black metal song. It's like the one I recorded for them. There was like this one particular song where Alexander's vocals, like he sounded like he was in like Marduk or something, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Like there's just even like parts of the Locust and shit, dude. Like I don't know, there was stuff. God, that whole like late '90s like Gravity Records stuff, man. I like when they went hard, it was fucking. That stuff's not entertainment. It's just as uncomfortable and atmospheric.
Well, you know, my thing, I love all that stuff. You know, the Gravity Records stuff, like the Red Scare, and you know, all that stuff's totally great. You know, it's incredible music, like Swing Kids, like all that.
Yeah.
You know, Honeywell, even though they weren't on Gravity, but they were like, you know, that style.
Same scene of stuff. Yeah. Even City of Caterpillar.
City
like
Caterpillar.
When they got
a little bit later, but yeah, definitely. Yeah. The unfortunate thing is when you say screamo now, people think
they don't know what. I like, or even like real emo music. Like people don't know what that is. They have no fucking clue, dude. Like if I say that to somebody, they give me this look like I'm talking about The Used or something, and I'm like, no.
Or like a band like Thursday or something like that.
Yeah, totally. Where it's like, no, I'm talking about shit that would scare the pants off you, dude. Like where you'd be in a sweaty basement with these like Ink and Dagger.
That's Antioch Arrow.
Yeah, where you're in fear of what's happening. You know what I mean? And I feel like there was a sense of danger happening in those scenes and stuff, you know? like in the shows were violent too,
Yeah, there were like real creepy kids that were into that kind of stuff.
Yeah, totally, totally arty kids and stuff. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, I always
yeah,
felt like that scene had a lot in common with black metal. I mean, I
for
I
sure.
backed into black metal like back in like maybe '94 because of one of my old bands was on tour and the record label gave us a pile of magazines and one of them just happened to be that magazine about the Norwegian scene.
Oh, the spin cover,
Yeah. Yep.
the spin one, yeah, the
And
legendary one
and
that sort
that's
of broke it. It broke it in America for
yeah,
sure. I
and
feel
that
like,
was like
yeah,
just completely by accident. And me and the bass player in that band were just like kind of taking
that
a
was like,
piss. You know, we were just like, this is
that,
really funny looking stuff. But then
yeah,
on that tour, we found all these cassettes, like the Emperor Enslaved like cassette, and
yeah,
and we listened to it, and then the Burzum records, and it was like suddenly it sort of took on
oh
its own
yeah.
life. You know what I mean?
That's the thing is like that stuff is like one day it clicks with you. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
I my direct relativeness to understanding black metal is directly related to discovering Neurosis. Actually,
sure.
it, that was I discovered them on Enemy of the Sun when that right around the time that came out because they played Nordic Hall in Sioux Falls, like the Nordic Hall, and they had toured there through Pain of Mind and shit like that too, I think, and Word is Law. But I saw them for Through Silver and Blood the year it came out. I think 4 or 5 times, and it's like 3 of them were in Sioux Falls. Um, well, did you ever meet Terry Taylor? Did Anodyne ever play there?
Yeah, many times actually.
Many times, yeah. So you probably knew Terry
Oh, Terry
Taylor.
Terry Taylor was on this podcast actually.
Yeah, yeah. And then Face of Decline's the first Relapse ever
Yep.
release ever, actually.
Oh yeah.
So Terry had them coming through constantly, especially during Through Silver and Blood. I saw him with Dead and Gone and I Hate God. I saw
I
him with
saw that
Bloodlet.
same tour.
To,
Saw the same
I saw him
tour.
with Bloodlet and Today is the Day for Morning Star and Entheogen, which is probably the gnarliest fucking show I've ever seen in my life, dude.
Yeah.
Like, I saw him with the Pantera thing that same year in
Yep,
Biohazard
that's
up
right.
at the Fargo Dome, dude. Like, fucking, and at Ozfest too that year.
See, I didn't see him at Ozfest, but I've seen him in some of those other settings. Sure.
It was in the Metrodome in Minneapolis. They played Locust Star and Purify, and then they did a Tribes of Neuro thing for 15 minutes, and there were maybe 20 of us up front, just like primitive. And then I turn around to a sea of the blankest fucking looks I've ever seen in my life.
Oh yeah, yeah, no doubt. I mean, those Pantera Ozfest kids had no idea what that they were watching at that time.
But the thing was hearing that, especially because Silver has such a even lower production quality or a weirder production quality than Enemy. You know, Billy got really weird on that production. You know, the first time I heard that record, I was like, this doesn't sound like what it was described to me, but I like kept listening and listening, and I fucking fell in love with it. And then I heard like Dark Throne, and like I heard Transylvanian Hunger, Blaze, shit, and then Anthems from Emperor.
Okay, yeah.
And those are cacophonous records. And I don't think without Neurosis, I think without Neurosis, they wouldn't have clicked with me the way they did.
Yeah, the anthems, I can see the that's what really kind of drew me in with black metal because I was always really into like bands like Neurosis and that sort of thing. That was like kind of like, but that mid 90s era, that was like my I worshiped that band. And you know, of course, we did that tour, picked up those cassettes. The stuff is cool. It's starting to grow on me. But then when I got deeper into the Emperor thing, the sort of the depth of their music resonated with me the same way that Neurosis did, and that's what made me really take it seriously.
Yeah, like you know, In the Nightside Eclipse is cool, but I like to feel like it's overproduced like now. Like, you know what I mean? Like I immediately go to Anthems always because it's like they describe some people will be like, black metal sounds like it's recorded in a cave. Well, that one sounds like it's recorded in a cavern.
Right.
And like you can see like the stalactites and stuff, but it's built inside of this blackened fortress. I don't know. Like does first that beautiful notes that they start out with. Oh, Jesus. And then the maelstrom that happens afterwards. It's like being in a blizzard of razor blades.
Yeah. No, that's an apt description of that.
Yeah, there's nothing quite like that one. That'll always be my favorite black metal record of all time, for sure.
And I also remember like around that time in the 90s, like a lot of kids that were into like noise were also into like black metal.
For sure, definitely. And like us coming from that like kind of like weird dark hardcore, pre-dark hardcore scene, like, you know, we were into like Tribes of Neuro and Nanomax and Merzbow, weird shit like that.
Exactly.
Yeah, you know, all the release
Crash
stuff.
Worship, you know.
Crash, yep, totally. Anything that like all the release stuff. Remember Release, the other side of Relapse? Yeah. And then like even like AMREPy shit.
Oh, dude,
you know,
I love all those bands. Yeah.
Yeah. Especially those first couple, like the more melodic Today is the Day records, like those are fucking cool, dude. Like,
yeah, those like, yeah, I mean, those
Willpower.
Willpower is like one of my favorite. It's a short album too. It's like one of my favorite.
Yeah,
records.
But it's just there's like so much emotion in that. Like, it brings tears to my eye. It's a heartbreaking record.
Supernova and Willpower are definitely, I think, the high point of the band. Like, I don't really care when they started becoming like a quote unquote metal band. Is when I kind of lost me. You know.
Honestly, actually, you know what? They did a record with Kurt a few years ago, so I think it's the first time they hadn't recorded it themselves in a while, and it's called Pain is a Warning.
Oh, okay.
And it's like it's like a rock record, and it's really fun actually. It's really angry and catchy, and it sounds like an AMREP record. Like some of the lyrics are pretty like bit ham-fisted, but it's still fun as fuck. So
I always had
huge record's fun, but
I always had huge respect for Steve, man, as a creative guy.
Oh, completely.
You know what I mean? Like, I thought, like, I remember seeing Today is the Day, like that, you know, that Supernova Willpower lineup.
Yeah.
And even the Temple of the Morning Star.
Morning Star was sick. I love that record still. Honestly, In the Eyes of God, parts of it are great, but most of it kind of goes over my head. Like, I feel like Brown's really reeled in his drumming in Mastodon, actually, because on Temple, on In the Eyes of God, it's just like, dude, what are you doing? Can you give me one thing to latch onto for just like a fucking measure or two? You know what I mean?
The song In the Eyes of God is incredible, but
yeah, totally.
I'm probably going to offend a bunch of people who love Mastodon, but like that record, I just can't listen to it, you know, honestly.
Yeah, for sure. It's just like it's like it's too much.
Yeah,
like,
I find it unlistenable.
Yeah, exactly. There's a matter of being challenging, and even there's times when it's like certain things are not meant to be entertainment, and I realize that. But like then there's a thing of just like, Jesus fucking Christ, chill the fuck out a minute here. Do you know what I mean? Give me a sec. It's like having a hot water, like a faucet turned on to hot all the way at full blast and holding your hand under it. You know what I mean? Where you're just like, yeah, this sucks, dude. Come on, this is too much.
Yeah, but I just remember, like, you know, Willpower, Supernova was great too, and Temple of the Morning Star, and just being like, this is like the future of music. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's heavy, it's scary, and at the same time, there's this vulnerability to it. There's like openness, this like heartache, you know, and like there's also hooks.
Yeah,
hooks get forgotten, which is one thing that I've always loved about what you've done in like Anodyne, especially, and in Tombs. Like, it's atonal, but you remember that people like there needs to be something that like is enjoyable about it. You know, there's a hook in there that's like that people like latch onto that I think gets forgotten a lot.
No, thanks, man. I mean, I appreciate that. I mean, I deep down, you know, I have like this kind of sad boy like kind of thing going on. So, That
when
kind of finds its way into the music, I think.
yeah, exactly. No, when the first time I heard Winter Hours, your first vocals that open up are like really like Broderick, post punky, like Head of David, kind of
Yeah,
these like charismatic kind of like atonal moans in a way. You know what I mean? But it's like to me that like that soars in my heart, that like massages it, even though it's meant to be cold. Like I like fucking love that shit. And that's
thank
why
you.
I sing the way. Then that's why I sing the way I do too, because I can't sing. So I'm just trying to like do my best Ian Curtis, Justin Broderick impression. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, actually, that song "Roses" is to me it sounds like a heavy version of "Love and Rockets" or something like that.
holy shit, dude! Thank you.
No, I was like,
Wow.
that was the song. Like, I remember my buddy Morgan sent me the record, like a Spotify link or something. And I was like, all right,
Yeah.
cool. Let me, get into this. And right away, I was like, the sax, there's like this kind of like swans kind of thing going on. And then, like, that's later in the record, that song.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, oh, wow, this is like, I listened to it like 5 times in a row when I heard it. And,
That's my Raven King. I was listening to Absolute Descent a lot when I was writing that song, and I learned the Raven King. I kind of learned it because I love the chord progression on there, and then I wrote Roses after that. So it's probably, if you put them together, they're not entirely dissimilar, actually. So
yeah, it's like
uh,
super catchy. It's got that vibe to it, which I was talking about. And, I've always loved like, Bauhaus and, Love and Rockets and all that kind of stuff. And I thought that was like, I'm like, this is like, I can't put my finger on what it is, but it was like, it reminded me of like a heavy Love and Rockets song.
oh, that's cool. I love that comparison. Oh,
Yeah.
that makes me happy.
No,
That's
right on.
that makes me all blushy and gooey.
Hell
Thanks.
yeah, man. So how do you like living in Philly?
Well, I live in Delco, man. I'm out in the Burbies,
Oh,
dude,
okay.
because best school district in Pennsylvania. We got our daughter in, so that's where like my ex has a house over in that area, so that we can have her. She goes to school in media, so I'm just right over the other side of the reservoir in a town called Newtown Square. But I'm only 30 minutes from the city, really 35. My partner, she lives there, so I spend a lot of time there when I'm not with my daughter. So um, I mean, it's cool. I got to see like like it's hard to catch up with Dave because he's a dad too,
Yeah.
and our schedules are kind of off. And then my other close friend here is Liam from Dillinger. He helped me out with finding some stuff like when we first moved here. Like he tried to help us find like some housing, things like that and stuff. So and he just got off that Inflame stuff. So because he's filling in for them. So I think Liam and I are going to meet up here in the next couple days. But
Nice.
otherwise, I don't know. I just I read a lot out here. I tattoo like out here. So I'm either with my kid or tattooing or with my gal. That's about it these days. So it's cool.
I've been enjoying the quiet life lately too, so that's cool.
Yeah, it's nice. I think we're going to Falling Water this weekend though, to the Wright House out there by Pittsburgh.
Right
The
on.
Frank Lloyd Wright House. I'm really excited about that. It should be fucking rad. So my gal's really into architecture, deep into it. So I'm learning a lot, and it's starting to influence other visual aspects. So I'm really like, the state's huge and it's beautiful. It's after growing up in like the plains with corn and shit, like I feel like I'm in an urbanized forest most of the time. People are like, "What? It's just Pennsylvania." I'm like, "No, it's fucking gorgeous here, you guys. It's beautiful. There's trees, dude."
Yeah,
I'm like,
PA is pretty cool. Like I've been all over that state. You know what I mean?
yeah.
It's
I
pretty
mean,
cool.
I'm just so used to, and I know there's agriculture here, but I'm just so used to like growing up around corn and like and animal slaughter.
Sure.
Like that's all it is where I'm from. So it's like just being able to go to there's like 5 arboretums within an hour of me. You know what I mean? You can go walk around it and stuff. It's fucking cool. Like I love it here. I'm happy.
Nah, it's cool. Glad to hear it, man, for
I
sure.
maybe not necessarily. I would love to live in the city if I could, but I got. It's good for my kiddo out here. I definitely could. There's still some Delco shit that's a little too like, they get a little bit rednecky out here still. Some of it reminds me of back home, but I'm close enough to the city that I can like get a bath from that now and then. It's a weird mixture of out here. It's a weird mixture of like white trash and rich white people, but I need some color in my life, so I got to get away from it.
Yeah, yeah, totally. Yeah. Yeah, Philly's always been like an interesting city, man. Like for many, many years, I feel like I've had a lot of connections in that town, either through like, friends or working with different record labels that are based there, like that kind of thing.
For sure, yeah, yeah. You've been with Tombs and what was Anodyne on? You weren't
Uh,
in it, I remember that. But what else?
yeah, I mean, we worked with a bunch of different labels, but most of our LPs came out on Scape Artist, which is
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah,
yeah, it's
where
a
were they out of?
Philly. That was like a
They
PA
were
label.
Philly. Oh,
Yeah,
okay, cool. Yeah. Oh yeah, Escape. Oh man, that's how. That's the Ken Mode connection there then too,
yep,
huh?
yep. I
Yeah,
met
and
those
then
guys when they were like teenagers, basically.
God, that shit was. I love that old shit though. Mennonites, fucking so good,
Oh
dude. That
yeah,
was the first kind. Yeah, and then what else? Scott, Scott, American Heritage. Weren't you guys
yeah,
like?
yeah, yeah. They were on
Yeah, yeah,
Escape Artists too.
yeah, yeah. Scott's homies from that. God damn, those the first ISIS record, right? Or no, were they on Escape
Yeah,
Artist or
yeah.
no?
Actually, yeah, Mosquito Control was on Escape Artist. Yeah,
Was it Celestial?
Celestial. Yep.
Oh
I think
yeah,
that stuff's been reissued though, maybe on
probably Hide Your
Ipecac.
Head for, yeah, or by Ipecac. Oh
Yeah,
okay, yeah. I knew
yeah,
Oceanic was the first one. That's right. They were Escape Artists then Ipecac. That's right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Keel Hall.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Playing Enemy. Yeah.
Playing Enemy. Yeah. Fucking. That's a singer. That's Kissing Goodbye and that guy, right?
Yes. Rorschach, Kiss It Goodbye.
Yeah.
That
Mm-hmm.
kind of thing. Yeah.
God, Kissing Goodbye was so good, dude. So
Great.
good.
Excellent band.
Yeah, I try to have a little bit of that in there too. I gotta get a little noise rock in Lotus Thrones when I can here and there too, where it seems to feel right. I feel like on the rock parts, it's almost noise rockish.
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense. Like we're all like guys from our like set are all down with all that stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. That was such that the first time I heard Unsane or anything like that, I just like Hammerhead. Ah.
Oh man. Well, Hammerheads, they're from South Dakota, right?
No, they're from Minnesota. They're from North Dakota,
North Dakota.
actually.
Okay.
Yeah, Fargo. But like, I got to see those for when I was living in Minneapolis. Around the time I started Wolfhammer is when they were starting to do their reunion shows. So it was, and then they did like this big AmRep fest. So I got to see like Boss Hog and shit like that, dude. Like,
Oh yeah.
yeah, so rad, so cool. Melvin's opened. That's
I,
when it was the big band too, with Big Business in
I
it.
gotta say,
Yeah,
man, I'm not the biggest Melvins fan.
yeah. It's
I
still
mean,
cool though, like that
yeah,
they would like they're like the headliner on the flyer for it, but they opened the show. Like
yeah,
that's as Melvins as you can get. Like
yeah. I
they're
like
funny like
everything
that.
up until Houdini. Like Houdini, I think is a solid album, and then
Yeah.
every record that came out after that, I just can't listen to it.
You didn't like Stoner Witch? Stoner Witch
Um,
is pretty fun. You
yeah,
should go
it's
back
all
and give
right.
it go
Maybe
back
I'll
and give it a try. Give
maybe
it a
I'll
try.
like revisit that one.
There's some bangers on it. I saw that's what got me into the Melvins because I got to see Downward Spiral tour.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
and the Melvins opened up with Stoner Witch, and then it was the Jim Rose Circus sideshow. Do you remember
Yeah,
that
of
fucking thing?
course. Yeah, that's
Yeah, dude.
iconic stuff, man.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. God, tours were so good back then. Who else did I see? I saw White Zombie with the Super Suckers. Like
Wow. I
same year.
that's insane,
Yeah,
man. Yeah.
yeah. Year before that, my dad took me to Lollapalooza '93. That was my first sort of real concert. because 2 years before that, I harassed him when I was 11 years old all summer to take me to Clash of the Titans, and it didn't happen. Because I'm
Yeah.
I'm 11.
Yeah, I had to sit that one out too, actually, with Slayer, Anthrax,
Yep.
Megadeth, Suicidal. I think that was the Clash tour.
It was Slayer, Megadeth, Anthrax, and Alice in Chains.
Oh shit, that's right. That's bold, man. That's a
Yeah,
bold
super
move.
bold.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I think it was their first major tour, and they were fucking heckled every night, probably, I'm guessing. So, but that's why Tom's on Dirt, actually.
Really?
You know that song that's like where it's just that guy that's yelling, "I am fire, God." Whoa!
Oh, that's Tom Araya?
That's Tom Araya, dude. Yeah.
Oh wow, damn.
Yeah. There's a '90s grunge rock fact for you.
Right on. I'm a huge Alice in Chains fan.
Alice is so good.
Yeah.
Even dude, those new records are good.
Yeah. No, they're great actually. And we played Hellfest. Yeah. Well, I don't care about that really, but we played Hellfest a number, I don't know, 2017 maybe. And Alice in Chains played the same day, so I got a chance to see them on a big European festival stage.
Yeah, I've only gotten to see videos with the new frontman, but he does a good job, dude.
No, he sounds great, man. He's awesome.
Yeah.
And Jerry, I mean, it's funny. Jerry is the guy, really. Yeah, that's what I mean.
The guy. You don't realize that till because I saw Alice in Chains with Staley at Lollapalooza '93.
I saw them on that too, actually.
And I couldn't believe in my 13-year-old mind how much Jerry was actually singing, as much, if not some points more than Lane was actually. Lane almost felt like a backup singer at points.
At some points, yeah.
Yeah.
But he just had that that tragic figure vibe, you know what I mean? That they kind of needed. Sure. They needed a front man like that,
Yeah, totally. Yeah, but that band it's all. That's one thing about that band is they are they weren't one person. They were definitely the sum of their parts.
Yes, Mike Starr, all those guys. Yeah.
Yeah, even Inez, who came after Starr, perfect replacement, And then fucking their drummer, God Jesus, he's stylistically so different. Every time I hear an Alice in Chains song, it's he's always, even now I'll hear anything. A song came on off of Facelift, and I forget what it was, but it was just he adds in these extra beats in there and stuff that are they shouldn't be there, but it's fucking makes perfect sense, at the same time.
I always felt like him and Johnny Kelly from Typo Negative sort of.
Yeah.
They had the similar sort of vibe, I thought.
Yeah, for sure. Hitting China's in between things and stuff like that. Yeah, really neat little lyrical would be a good way to describe it. Actually, very lyrical drummers.
Well, Heath, man, it was great talking to you, man. And,
I know. I'm a fucking talker. I'm sorry,
dude. No, this is great. That's what podcasts are for, man. They're just for
sure.
Communicating,
Cool. And let's do it again when I got more ideas about this third record thing, and when it's coming out, I'll let you know, and I'll send you some stuff to check, other stuff to check out ahead of time here. I kind of want to know what you think of it so far, actually. So.
Yeah, I want to check out the stuff in the Dropbox, and
there's a Cure cover, there's the Ministry cover, there's a Samhain cover, which I had to send you, of course.
Oh yeah, it's
and then there's
favorite bands.
there's two originals in there. So.
Awesome.
Cool.
Well, I appreciate your generosity with that. Seriously.
Oh, of course. No, I don't. You know what? That's my other thing is record 3. I'm just gonna drop it. I'm not doing anything else with it. I'm just gonna put it out there. I think when it's after I can't. I suck at mixing, so I'm probably gonna have Will from Sohm mix it. Sohm and Caspian.
Yep. I know Will.
Yeah. I'm gonna have him mix it because he did my spring EP, the Vernal EP, and he did. I want him to do it, and then I'm just gonna fucking digitally drop it. I'm done with I don't have enough clout. I feel like I need to environmentally add more product to the world. I feel like it's just I'm putting more crap out in the world that could just be thrown away or sitting on a shelf. which is like I feel bad about, like with all the trash in the world, you know.
I get you, man, on that for sure.
Yeah. So who needs more material, like material things like that? Nobody's gonna buy it anyways. Fuck it.
Well, I mean, maybe.
Maybe we'll see what's up. All right, buddy.
All right, man.
It was fun.
Thank you very much, and let's stay in touch, man. All right.
Yeah, definitely, and we'll see each other soon, I'm sure. So we're not far.
Well, I'm going to my girlfriend and I are going to the Ash Code show next Saturday out in Philly.
That's when I'm going to be in Falling Water at the at the seeing that Right House. I'm on like me and my girl have a romantic getaway next weekend. So, but I'm really bummed that your show is the same night as the Mission and Chameleons, dude.
Oh yeah. I don't think there's going to be. Besides from you, I don't reckon there'll be a lot of crossover between those two shows. So
yeah, for sure. I'm so yeah. Even though I want to go to both because I like all the bands at both of them. But I've had those tickets for 2 fucking years.
Nah, you got to do what you got to do, man. It's totally understandable.
Yeah,
well, I mean, we're starting to do shows again. We'll be back. You know.
Cool. Yeah, and we'll run into each other for sure.
Absolutely. All right, Heath.
All right,
Thanks a lot.
Talk soon. Yeah. Bye.